Traveling by motorcycle is probably one of the best ways to see the world. I truly believe that. But sometimes it stops being a pleasure and turns into something that it's not fun anymore. In this video, I want to explain how that happens and how to avoid reaching that point. Welcome back. Even though traveling by motorcycle is a great hobby, many of you will reach a moment when your expectations do not match reality. The good news is that this point does not appear suddenly. It builds slowly, mostly because of the expectations and beliefs that you already carry with you. This means that with a small change in perspective, you can make a big difference to your upcoming journey. It can also help you predict and maybe avoid many future disappointments. I have completed many trips, some of them in very rough conditions. Central Asia, Morocco, Mongolia, Pakistan, Ladakh, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Belarus, Turkey, Road of Bones, Venezuela, Trans-Amazonica Road in Brazil, and many more. These destinations are not for everyone. When I uploaded my videos from Pakistan, India, Nepal and Bangladesh, many people commented, "Man, we wanted to go there from a long time, but when we saw what it is, no thank you, we don't even want to see it again." It was very similar when I showed the petrol problems in Venezuela and the bad roads and weather conditions in Trans-Amazonica Road in Brazil. These parts of the world have a different rhythm. And if you are not ready for it, you will face serious difficulties. Number 1. When the expectations collapse. When the reality no longer matches the fantasy that you had before the trip, you're forced to face it. The conditions are not what you expect, the roads are bad, the bureaucracy is slow, the weather is harder, and the days are longer. At that moment, you're forced to adapt. And this is where the real questions begin. How do you accept unexpected situations? How flexible are you? Can you improvise? Or do you expect the world to revolve around you? Let me give you a few examples. Last year, we did a 2-day off-road trip around 330 kilometers. No asphalt, riding along mountain ridges all the way from the middle of the country to the Black Sea. A friend of ours heard about it and immediately decided to join. We tried to explain that it was not what he imagined, but he was convinced he could handle it. He did finish it, but what followed were hours of drops, exhaustion and frustrations. It shouldn't be like that. His expectations never actually met the reality. The problem was not the route, the problem was the picture that he had in his head how this trip will feel like. Let me give you another example. Almost everyone who plans to visit South America hears about Ruta 40 or Road number 40. More than 5,000 kilometers crossing the whole continent from north to south. If you search online, you'll see breathtaking photos and smiling riders. In reality, about 80% of it is a straight and very boring road. The mountains are there, but far, far away. If I ever go there, I will probably avoid most of it. But before I went, my expectations were completely different. These are just two classic examples of physical and emotional mismatch. And this is exactly how the pleasure slowly disappears. If you want to understand this process in much more depth, I talk about it in more detail in my online course Adventure Riding Without Illusions. Link in the description down below. Number 2. Fatigue increases doubt. Physical discomforts build slowly and a small pain turns into constant mental noise. The longer you ignore it, the harder it becomes to break the cycle. When fatigue reaches a certain point, you start making mistakes. And with every new mistake, the doubts grow. Am I on the track? Is this really for me? What did I do wrong? And many other destructive thoughts. If you make small logical mistakes, that is normal, but when something more serious happens, like dropping the motorcycle or injuring yourself, the doubts become much stronger. Your brain switches into protection mode and starts looking for safety, not adventure. We don't need this road, we don't need that hill, let's turn around, let's go home. This reaction is completely normal and you should expect it. Number 3. Isolation and comparison. You start comparing your experience with what you see online, and your trip suddenly feels less special, and social media does not help. In fact, it makes things even worse. Comparing yourself with others is one of the fastest ways to lose pleasure on your journey. If necessary, disconnect from social media while you travel. The problem is that many people are addicted to likes and shares. it becomes like a new source of validation. Some riders even take some unnecessary risks to film something that will be impressive or will help them to be recognized online. Isolation is another factor that many people underestimate. It looks romantic when you're at home, but it's completely different story when you're out there, especially if you have some problems. Believe it or not, but isolation makes more riders quit than bad weather or difficult road conditions. Number 4. The ego trap. Sometimes you stop enjoying the journey, but you cannot quit. Pride keeps you moving, not the trip itself. I have seen this with my close friend, and when I ask him why you came, he just lifts shoulders and cannot say anything. The second version of the ego trap is more dangerous. It is when you underestimate the conditions and overestimate your skills. Let me give you one example. A few years ago, I made one very risky trip from Berlin to Varna, Bulgaria during the winter. It was not planned like that. It was a nice weather, about 15 degrees, but the day I started, the weather suddenly changed. When I woke up on the next morning, the temperature was 3 degrees. I said to myself, it's alright, I'm well dressed, I'll be alright. But later, around Slovakia, it drops to -8, then -10, -12 even. I stuck in Romania for 2 days waiting the weather to improve a little bit, and somehow I managed to reach Bulgaria safe in one piece, but it was very hard, very difficult journey, always on the edge, and I said to myself that I will never do this again. It's not so bad, you might say, we all done this mistake, but let me continue my story because this is where the interesting part starts. A few months later, I got an email from a guy from France who planned to travel from France to the North Cap. But he planned to make it in the beginning of December or the end of November, something like that. And his question was, what kind of winter tires would you recommend for my trip? And the only thing that I was able to say was that I don't know about winter tires for motorcycles, because usually people don't ride their motorcycles in the winter. And he said, but you did it. And I said, yes, I did it, but I did not expect such a weather change. If I knew in advance, I will never do it. But he said, yes, but you did it, and I want to do it again. It will be an adventure, it will be something that no one do. I will film it, people will be excited, I will have a lot of views and many more like that. And I said, man, the only thing that I can say right now is just don't do it. And the story could finish here, but it actually did not. A few months later, I've got an email. No, not a few months, probably a few weeks later, I've got an email from this guy. Only one sentence. He said, you were right. And I said, about what? It turns that he started the trip in the middle of November, from the middle of France go to North Cap, which is a ridiculous idea. On one of the first days of his trip, still in France, he slipped on a cold asphalt and broke his collarbone, twisted the leg and a few more injuries, and finished in the hospital. Luckily, he was okay, recovered and everything, but this is an example when someone underestimate conditions and overestimate his skills. If you watch this video right now, please comment below, because this might help many people avoid your mistake. When you believe that your country, your motorcycle, your skills, the way you travel is always the best, the more you raise the level, the harder the drop will be. Number 5. The wrong decision. Everyone believes that they are right until reality proves them wrong. Making mistakes is normal, but to repeat the same mistake again and again is not. Wrong decisions creates difficult moments. They increases risk and leads to expensive corrections. Poor planning, lack of experience, or underestimating the situation are common reasons. But very often, wrong decisions are simply the result of the 4 points that we already discussed. Collapsed expectations, accumulated fatigue, isolation and ego. The good news is that all of this could be managed. Not eliminated, but managed. And it all starts with a few simple principles. Number 1. Adjust your expectations before the trip. Number 2. Plan rest and recovery consciously. Number 3. Define what success means for you before the trip starts. Number 4. Accept that adaptation is part of the adventure. Number 5. Stay flexible with your decisions. If you recognize these patterns early, the trip changes completely. It is not complicated, it just requires understanding and consistency. I hope that this video will help to at least one person. Press like or dislike, whatever it deserves. If you subscribe, even better. Check the links below and see you in the next video. Ciao!